my SHIB family. How are yous? Boom, baby. There we go. We're talking about you and me. We're talking about SHIB. We'll talk about SHIB all day. We'll talk about SHIB. This is SHIB Worldwide 50/50 Raffle. We are the only TV broadcast that is solely dedicated to SHIB, and we're here to bring it to you live as we dare. We're going to talk about the War Room. We're going to talk about SHIB and the impacts of what President Trump just signed into law. That's right, the Genius Act. Right. So how does that affect cryptocurrencies? And is it positive, negative, or in between? Just checking my email. And like I suspected, we have to... The raffle will be held over until the next 24 hours. Because we have no sales. What time is it? It is 5:07. We are early, people. We are never this early. We are usually running behind. But tonight we are hosting a lot of information. A massive amount of information actually. Okay, so we're going to start it off with a questionnaire. Because I know everybody likes questions on SHIB. And we're going to start it off with simple questions. If you have something that's constantly reducing its circulating supply, isn't that driving up demand? Doesn't that also increase the value of something that's always decreasing? And what does everybody want in the world? To live, right? Everybody wants that prestigious, exponential to live, invest, and carry on and be able to travel. Traveling gives us the ability to do what we want when we want, in theory. That also increases what? Wealth to others. Absolutely. Because when you travel, you have to have money to pay for things. So when you go to a different place and you want to try different food, for instance, you need to pay for the food, you need to pay for the lodgings, you need to pay for the hotel, you need to pay for the taxis, you need to pay for provisions for you. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means everybody wants to. Zephyr's in the house. Hello, Zephyr. Play Zid. Play Zed. ZZ Top. Every girl crazy, Boda. Well-dressed man. Everybody needs to wear a suit and tie. ZZ Top from Zephyr. How's it going, Zephyr? What's going on with you? This is a fun place. Everybody's here to have fun. Fun in the sun. And if you haven't noticed, SHIB has gone up in the last 24 hours. We did hit 1583. That's 4 zeros. 1583. 15, yeah. So yeah, that's almost correct. Excellent. Good to hear, Zephyr. Nothing wrong with that. It's good to see you. Good to see everybody, actually. And massive love shout to the entire world from the SHIB Army, SHIB family. Doing great. Doing fantastic. We have some very interesting news on AI. We have some fantastic news. And if you have any questions about the Genius Act that was just signed into law for stablecoins and Tether. Tether is the number one that's going to gain the most attention from this because the U.S. is giving everybody the opportunity, and I don't know how long it's going to last because they can't do it for everybody, doubling your money just by putting it into Tether. That's awesome, right? So it's 1-to-1. So you're going to put $1, $10. If you put $10 in Tether, you're going to get $10 towards the Treasury branch of the U.S. currency. So, yay! So it's $20, right? Yay! Everybody understand that? You're from India, Zephyr. I got DJ's from India. Who was the other one? Sagir. He's from India. Sagir. Vishaw. Vishaw's from India. Sorry. He's from Pakistan. Not Sergey. Sin is from the Philippines. I know a lot of people from the Philippines. Dong, Leah, Novi, Amy. They're all from the Philippines. Anna. Well, there's a few Annas. So massive love shout to the Annas, right? And Anna was on yesterday. Yay, Anna! And she's also from. Yeah, got it. Aviola is from the Philippines. My wife is from the Philippines. Yay! Who else? We have a lot of Canadians, though. We have Mark Anthony in the house. He's from Canada. Abby is from Edmonton, Alberta, which will soon be just Alberta, which is fantastic. I can't wait for our separation because we won't have to pay any more bills and take in any more immigrants that we don't have jobs for. Because if anyone ever knows that when you have too many people coming into your country and not enough work for them, you get criminal activity. Because everybody wants to what? Make money. Why are we here? To make money. What are we here to provide? Ways to show you just how that's going to happen. Ryan, mass love shout out to Ryan. Deport them all. Deport them all, Ryan. I don't know what that. You know what? I would just send them all to Ontario. I'd get so bad, like I'd be like Texas. Just send them to Washington D.C. You brought them here. You live with them. After we separate, make sure our borders are secure, and then send them all the way out to, because we don't want to send them back to their own countries. We just want to send them back to the people who brought them here in the first place and who figured that they can afford them when there's no jobs, right? I mean, that's just, that's nor here nor there, right? We don't want to get carried away with politics because we're all supposed to be about helping each other out. That's right. We're all supposed to be about helping each other, not getting carried up in the politics of our society, right? And what I was getting at with SHIB was, what is the only currency in the world right now that has zero governance and that's reducing its circulating supply? Now, the first thing that comes to mind is Ethereum. And then there's XRP is also reducing its supply. You got Crow reducing its supply. You got all these other companies. I call them companies because that's exactly what they are. They've got governance. So if you've got governance, that means you have a board of directors, you have an HR, you have a list of advertising and marketing directors that are inside your organization. Well, you have to pay those people. So anytime you take on a new project or a new development or what you think is a utility, that's an R&D, by the way. Because if you want to start reducing or implementing new ideas to reduce your circulating supply, if it doesn't work, what are you going to do? You got two options. Either you're going to borrow more money or you're going to liquidate. Now, if you liquidate, that means you have to mint more money. So if you mint, what does that mean? It means you're devaluating your currency. So your cryptocurrency. And XRP can do it just like that. If they run into problems, they can do a reverse split on their coin. Everybody loves that, right? Who loves a reverse split on anything? Okay, the first thing you get shot. You shouldn't love anything that reverses anything that you have. Because you imagine, okay, 10 to 1, right? So you had 1,000 shares or 1,000 XRP. And they go 10 to 1. What does that mean? That means you now have 100. Yes, the value goes up. But what happens when the value goes up right away? It goes right down. So everybody sells. Is exactly what everybody does. Is it good? No. But it lowers the amount of coins that are available to everybody else. Absolutely. SHIB doesn't have this problem. SHIB doesn't have that problem. And I got bold enough to ask AI again for the calculations, which are misleading because when you ask them certain things and they give you a hypothesis on it, it's they can't figure out how much demand there is and how much the coins are going to be reduced. They can only go based on what's available. And that being said, they only go by linear graphic design. So it's the exact same steps and notifications that are poised. Does that make any sense to anybody? So what happens is you ask it to do a certain thing, calculate a certain logarithm. It can't. It can't easily do it. It doesn't know world why. It doesn't know world life challenges in there. So, for instance, if you were to reduce SHIB by a certain amount, it can't tell you the statistics of the volume of demand there is. Okay, we can only go by prior knowledge, and the prior knowledge that I have on it, and even then, it can't determine how much of the spread there will be. So, for in fact, Ethereum, we want to look at how much money that they have missed out on, right? Back up the bus and go back to 2021 when they reduced 410 trillion, because that was 410 trillion that he did not risk anything at all. He just sent that out so that he could avoid paying taxes. That's what Vlad Buterin did. Now, what were the end results of that 410 trillion burn? A massive rise, 72 million% rise in SHIB. Well, it was already in a bull trend, so we don't know exactly, but it got a big boost, right? Massive boost. But the volume took off almost instantaneously. It went to 4 to 5 billion transactions, USD transactions per day for almost 6 months, right? 5.5, 4.5 months, somewhere around there, that we had a massive run on 4 to 5. And then the next one that we had was Shibarium, which was a $56 billion burn all within 4 months. And it took off after 4 months. And it ran up between 5 and 6 billion transactions per day for 43 days. Yay! So when you break it down, if Ethereum were to continue that burn till today, how much supply would be left? Would you believe it would be negative? We wouldn't have a supply left. At the where was it? But that's if it was done every month. Now, when you break it down, it takes 4 months for people psychology to click in, but we don't know exactly how that psychology would work once the supply starts to run out. Okay? So it can't determine the price action, but it should be able to determine the amount that's being traded. So the first one was 4 to 5 billion per day. The next one was 5 to 6. We're thinking of probably 7 to 8 billion in transactions for the next go around, and then 9 to 10 billion in the next go around, and then about 12 to 14 billion in the next go around. And therefore, right, so within 2 years, how much would the burns accumulate before 2025? We would have very little supply, and the price would be astronomical. Probably around, if we had the $350 billion market cap that it's supposed to have, that would put it at around, what, $1, $2, maybe even $5, $6 by now. But you gotta remember that it's every 4 months, so it's like 3 times a year you have these massive accumulations. And you have more people coming in. Of course, when you have more volume, you have more people coming in. So we wanted a breakdown of that information, and then how much of that now, because we're spread out over 240 different exchanges, that Shibarium missed out on. So they made $40 billion the first go around. They would have made anywhere between $60 to $70 billion the next go around, and into the trillions the third and fourth go around, into the trillions. How many people would want to be part of that? Okay, got to ask yourself this. How many people would find out that they're doing these massive burns? How many people in the world want to make money? How many people in the world can afford to make money? So there's 5.3 billion people that can afford SHIB right now. Now, they would have been able to buy it in between now and 406, 407. Okay, after that, it gets a little expensive, but it's still affordable if you only want 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. It's still affordable. But the million is kind of wiped off the table. Right now, everybody in the world can afford to buy SHIB at the price it is right now. Now we're talking about the war room. You're going to love this. The war room is all about AI. It's going to, what? Kill the raffle. Literally kill the raffle. They don't want the raffle to start, by the way, guys. Nobody wants the raffle to start. I don't know why. Especially AI. AI wants to control it all. So, and we know they're accumulating. That's a fact. They haven't burned it. That's also a fact. They haven't started burning it. So that's positive for everybody that's interested, because what does that mean? It means you can stockpile it. That means that you have to tell everybody, tell 10 friends, they tell 10 friends, they'll tell 10 friends. You get the message, you need to tell them immediately. Because SHIB is constantly reducing its circulating supply. When AI starts reducing SHIB circulating supply, it's about calculations, risk tolerance, data analysis, and in a split second. So every time it buys and reduces SHIB, because it's what it's doing is it doesn't have the ability to use the transfer back and forth. Okay, it's straightforward. They buy it, they burn it. Makes sense? Everybody get that? So why would they do that? Well, one, they're testing their own intelligence is one. And remember, the AI is a learning computer. So every time it does a burn, it's trying to figure out what are the impacts. And because we are so slow that we won't see it coming. Remember, it takes us 4 months to start raising awareness after a massive burn has happened. 4 months, investors are lagging. AI does not lag. AI is instantaneous. So every nanosecond that you wait to buy it or sell it, there's someone buying it. When you have 300 billion SHIB and you want to sell all of it, you have no problem selling it. When you have 5 trillion and you want to sell it, you'll have no trouble selling it. When you have 10 trillion SHIB, you want to sell it, and you'll have no trouble selling it. AI will have a program that's set in place that it will accumulate as soon as it comes available. That's how you know it's AI. It's gone. Oh, there's the order. It's filled already. What do you mean it's filled? It's filled already. And they bought it at your price that you wanted. What if I change my mind? Too bad. So sad. You sold it. I'm sorry about your luck. Okay, well, I'm thinking I might want to buy some of that back. Well, you'll be buying it at twice the price. What? Just like that? And you'll be buying it from someone else because their AI goes right off into a trust wallet, into a DeFi wallet, instant. Off the market, guys. Off the market. Theirs is not about putting it back on the market. It's about taking it off the market because that's held. They don't want any transactions where they're losing any market cap. So theirs is all about shuffling. Okay, when does it go back on? When they're told to put it back on the market for this reason. Right now, it's an accumulation phase. So how many AIs are competing with each other? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So we know that for a fact that they haven't started reducing. When you start seeing the pattern where they're reducing, they're testing it. So 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, $2, $2.50, and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like that. What that means is are we accumulating, and does it 10 times our money? And then it says, nope, okay, continue doing it until we get 10x our money. So we're going to do these small reductions. And the faster we can do these reductions, the more we can prove it on our spreadsheets. So the spreadsheet will show a buy-in on at this time, then a buy-in at this time. So a half a second later, there's another buy, and 25 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents. And remember that the gas fees absolutely matter to them. So if it's 50 cents, there's no way they're going to be doing gas fees on $1, on $1.50, $2. It's going to be on a $10 to $20 minimum. So there's no way they're going to be touching those exchanges. It's only the exchanges that they get away with half a cent, a quarter of a cent on exchanges, and the smaller the better. So there's no fees if it's a 25-cent reduction. That mostly happens on Shibarium. So you can, if the Shibarium starts to take off, you start to see certain characteristics about it. different wallets, but they're the same amount of coin. Okay, because it will be like 25 cent, 25 cent, 25 cent, like a list of 25 cents, like repeatedly for an hour or maybe 10 minutes, right? So it'll be like 1,000 25-cent changes over a certain period of time. And are they going to get charged anything for those? And then if they aren't, they're just going to continue masking it until it gets 10x, right? And it won't get a 10x because people don't look at the reductions, slow increments. And for instance, there's 694 billion SHIB removed in the last, how long? In 4 years, right? And we had not one rise in SHIB. So people don't look at volume. They don't look at, not volume. They do look at volume. They don't look at value. So the value that's added is 12x more than Shibarium. That's how come we get the 30596. Okay, and they're going to say, oh, well, how do you come up with that? Because that's, you got to remember, we've done more burns since then. 17 billion, right? Added. So, you got to keep that in mind too, right? The burns, when they start happening microscopic, and people will go, well, those burns don't mean anything. Okay, 7 hours ago, for instance, we burned 750 from FB9D. Okay, so anyone know who that is? Anybody at all know who that is? Uh, 12 hours ago, we did 1 million, which is roughly around 15 million, $15, right? $15. And people look at that and go, oh, that's nothing. Okay. 17 hours. I'm going to give you an inclination. All the same wallet. 8 hours, 24 hours, 12, 21 hours, 22 hours, 9 hours, 9 hours, 9 hours, 17 hours. All the same wallet. 397, 814, 821, 424, 426, 429, 431, 437, 434, 439. When you start seeing these, but they would be around approximately 20 to 30,000 because it's about a couple cents on the dollar. Hold on a second, get you into here because they won't do any more. They won't do the minimum. They won't do the maximum either. That makes sense to everybody. Remember, you got a bigger spread on the dollar, right? When it's smaller, they give you a wider spread, so you don't get as many SHIB. Go figure. Yeah, go figure. Those bastards. Why you do that to me? Oh, you rotten youngster. Yeah, so it's going to be at least 9,493 SHIB. That gets reduced. Mark Anthony in the house. Hello, fellow shibbers. Massive love show to Amy. Abby. Massive love show to Abby. Massive love show to North America, South America. Massive love show to Asia. Massive love show to Europe. Massive love show to Africa. Massive love show to Antarctica, Australia, Greenland, Iceland, Finland, Norway, Sweden. Yeah, massive love show to you. Massive love show to Poland. Massive love show to Germany, Russia. Massive love show to you. Massive love show to missing one. Iceland, Ireland, Greenland. Sorry, Greenland. Keep leaving Greenland out. Sorry about that, Greenland. Yeah. So massive love show to all of you. So as we're getting into the minimum, we'll do do a couple here for you guys so that you understand what's going on. All right. So, 15 cents. Holy crap, that's way too low. 15 cents is not. Here we go. Just so that everybody knows, 15 cents burn is 94,936. 94,000. Okay, at the current rate. 25 cents is roughly around 158,000. Why are these like this? Hold on to your party hats. It's yeah, 158,000 for 25 cents. 50 cents is going to be 316,000. 75 cents is 474,000. SHIB removed. So what AI would do is I'm looking at this and saying, okay, well, would they do a 15-cent burn? Well, unless it's less than a cent, yes, then they would do that. And it's about testing its intelligence. So there's going to be analytics and drop. But before then, what's going to happen? Massive accumulation. It's already happening. So we're one step closer. And we've also talked about this yesterday and the day before with 120 trillion SHIB accumulated, but it's been over 64 different wallets on different exchanges. So is that AI? Possibly, but we can't track it down to 1 or 2 or 3 because it's on 64 different. And are they whales? Some of them are, some of them aren't. And are they traceable? Absolutely. Some of them are traceable. Some aren't. Some of them are on Robinhood, and Crypto.com, and Bybit. And you can go on Bybit and find out how many. And you can go on Crypto.com, though it's very hard because they can move them easily. And this is the tricky part. Most of what goes on Robinhood and Coinbase and Crypto.com is the number one kicker for this one. Moving it on and and off exchanges. So they move it to DeFi and then move it back. So if you have $100,000 or $200,000 or $500,000 worth of cryptocurrency, you can do it for free transactions. There's no fees with it because it gives you a certain amount of fees that they don't charge you, but they do charge you on other things like transaction fees, but they're small because they want your business. Does that make sense, everybody? Everybody get that? So when you move your currency on your exchanges, you're getting back more value for your dollar. So the more you have, the less you pay. So that's exactly what goes on with these with AI, is they're controlled by who? Meta. Meta's got billions of dollars, guys. Nvidia, trillions of dollars, trillions worth of liquidity, worth billions of dollars. So, and Apple is getting into the rat race. Morgan Stanley, J.P. Morgan Chase, Fidelity, Bank of America, all of them are getting into the rat race because of who? Trump signed the Genius Act just recently. So it solidifies all the cryptocurrencies that have been around for a long time. So what does that mean? It means the top 100 wallet holders or 100 cryptocurrencies pretty much in the mix. Doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to be in that mix, but they get that solidification, so they're happy. All of them should be happy in the 100. Then you got exchanges in the top 70 exchanges also have the highest ratings because they have the most liquidity that's in the marketplace, right? They have the most liquid cash, right? That's exactly what that means. They have the most liquid cash. and all of the and Binance, of course, is granddaddy because it got the most liquidity. It's got lots of utility, and it's got lots of different avenues in each country according to its code. Now, we got into a little bit yesterday and the day before about the taxation on those countries and the currency that's available to them. So again, the more you make, the less you pay. So it helps to be a multimillionaire, and AI helps you maintain that because they maintain control. And from what I understand, they're the ones that are blocking the 50-50 raffle from taking off. Reason for the okay, so if you have a constant reduction in circulating supply, like the raffle, is going to be driving that and the volume and the value of SHIB drastically. AI has a hard time with valuating itself for its intelligence, because artificial intelligence is supposed to be what? A learning computer. Well, if you have somebody that's constantly changing the parameters, it doesn't help it. It needs that linear graph that it can follow. For instance, when you burn or reduce SHIB, it's a 4-month waiting period to see if it has any effect. AI loves that. Every AI platform would love that, right? Because people don't dictate whether or not it goes up or down. If it changes a millionth of a cent on a sporadic note, it's easy to track. It's easy to fundamentally factor in how the reaction is on the AI, not the people. Because people are, let's face it, if they had a clue of what they were doing, they would be buying SHIB and telling everybody about it, right? It would be hands down zero risks to anybody, because you're reducing the circulating supply while you're building what? More demand, because everybody wants what? More money. So more money on something that's constantly reducing the circulating supply, that's providing you more money, giving you more money because it's building your foundation. It's giving you back that money back in your pocket as you're growing that foundation. Now, if everybody starts to sell that foundation, then it starts to crumble, right? But you're always going to have people trying to buy into it because they understand and believe what's going on. But everybody has those stepping stones. They want to test the waters. Well, with AI, it's instantaneous. It's second by second, minute by minute. No, it's second nanoseconds, peeps. So when we see a big block, for instance, and there's AI looking at it, how fast can they accumulate it? Well, it depends on how much money is given to the AI for control. But I'm telling you, if it's Meta or if it's IBM or if it's a different AI, don't worry. They're going to accumulate all of it. Instantaneous, whether the price is there or not. Let's say they put it at 16, okay? It gets close to that value, like within 2 millionths of a cent. Boom, it's filled. Instant, like before, like just as it comes on, it's filled. As soon as we get up there to that price level, it's filled. But they don't buy any more. They just buy that what's available. So like it came on and said 10 million, 10 trillion, 0.2, covered instantly. That's AI. Because unless it's what? On and off the exchange. And crypto.com is fantastic for this. Same thing with Robinhood. Okay? They'll put it on there and then they take it off. And where does it go? It goes to a DeFi wallet. And then it's off the exchange though, but it looks like someone had what? Purchased it. So they're trying to what? Drive up the market or drive down the market? Well, and they're looking for how that is reacted. Because when they put it back on the exchange, everybody sells. When they take it off the exchange, everybody buys, causing fear of missing out. So that's why they do it. But when they put it back on the exchange, they're trying to pressure people into selling. You see how they try to manipulate you? You see where that whole adventure in this whole prospectus? But once it's gone, when SHIB is burned, it's gone forever. So that's 1 million SHIB given back to every single wallet holder in the world. as value added to SHIB. So every time there's a reduction, it adds more value to every single person available that's in SHIB. So they're paying you to stay in it. That's what I keep telling people. Listen, you're getting paid to stay in it. You want to sell it. Why are you selling something you're getting paid to stay in it? Like you can't make this up, man. Like this is the whole point of it, right? Everybody wants to make money. You want to make money. I want to make money. Everybody wants to make money. You have a situation where everybody can make money because of the reductions. And who's reducing it? Not you or I. Why would we reduce it when companies get paid to reduce it? And that's my thing, right? Koi wants to reduce $2 or $3 every single day, knock their socks off. Every cryptocurrency should own SHIB on a massive scale and then start reducing it. Now, if every single one of them started to do it, we'd have no supply. If we had every single company buying massive chunks of SHIB, we would run out of supply really, really, really fast. And then they got to burn it. So on every single transaction that are they burning their supply? No. Every transaction, people don't understand this. Every transaction that happens on their store, there's a certain percentage they're allowed to write off as goodwill. Now, if 10 cops come in, okay, that's 10 cups of coffee. I get to write that off in goodwill. Well, then I can write off another 10 cups of coffee for the next 10 guys that came in that didn't come in. I just want to burn that through SHIB. I can write that off the exact same way. Do you understand? Do you all get that? Like Starbucks can do that. BP's can do that. That Boston Pizza. And it's called Bridge Brands. Is it Bridge Brands or Restaurant Brands? Restaurant Brands, sorry. They're conglomerate. They can do it. And a lot of people say, well, that would be their donations that they would give away. This isn't a donation. This is a business strategy. Does it make sense to everybody? You understand what that means? It's a business strategy that's set up. And then you got AI that's doing this. And AI can do it 1,000 times faster than we can do it. For instance, it's going to take me, once the raffle got started, 2.8 years. All of you be sitting pretty. SHIB would be sitting at around 38 pounds. I don't think any one of you right now would own 5 million SHIB. You would sell it. Might even be 1 million SHIB that you'd have. And it'd be lucky if it was that. One, your heart can't take it. Two, you understand the whole purpose of liquidity. Yes, you're going to be rich beyond your wildest dreams. And AI is going to try and steal it from you. And they're going to be very manipulative and very controlling to do it. Are they going to force you? No, they're not going to force you. But they're going to scare the living piss out of you, all of you. Because they're going to be able to do it faster, more frequent, and they're learning from you. They're learning from your patterns or lack thereof. Like 4 months to finally catch on. Hey, wait a second, there's less supply. Even though nobody saw 696 billion SHIB removed in the last 4 years. Like that also has an impact because that also tells AI if we do small increments, no one's going to be aware of it. And then the price won't have any price action towards it. Because look at the last 694 billion burns that just happened. So if we were to burn $1 trillion a month, or 2 trillion, or 3 trillion a month, would that impact SHIB's price action? It possibly would be, unless it was done over 30 days. Small increments over 30 days. But even still, that's over 1 billion, right? A day. So, got to keep that in mind too. Because anything over a certain amount is going to set an alarm off, and then 4 months later, we have a massive run. Because if you do 1 billion, if you do 1 trillion a month, that's going to set off alarm bells. So what it might do is this is scary stuff, guys. Very scary stuff. I'll tell you why. It takes you 4 months to catch on to what's going on. So you think about this for a second. AI decides that it wants to test the waters. So it starts off small. and it does it 9,000 trades in 20 minutes. Reduces SHIB in 20 minutes. 9,000 transactions. Okay? By the time it finished the 9th transaction and does a static comparison for the next hour to 2 hours to see what the results are, and they're the exact same, if not smaller than what there was when they first went into it, like everybody was starting to sell off into it, what's going to happen is they're going to increase that. And they'll figure they'll have 4 months and there's no supply left. So they can act really quickly. That would scare everybody, saying, wait a second, what the hell's going on? And then everybody gets scared. And what happens when people get scared? Anyone? When people get scared, they get panicky. Panicky means what? Sell off, right? They don't understand what's going on. And AI is perfect for it because it's exactly what it is. It's quick, it's fast, and it's furious. So it could actually reduce your supply in 3 months, and then you have no supply left at the 4th month where everybody's starting to think that, hey, wait a second, this is actually legitimate. We actually have less supply now. Now we need to start piling in. And that's when the brainwaves go off, but you've already lost 90% of your supply. And then everybody's like in panic mode. And when people panic, they usually sell it. They don't buy it. They usually sell it. Everybody gets excited when they start to see a what? A jump up. But you're not going to see jump ups. You're going to see bounces, not jumps, bounces. It's going to go to a cent in a heartbeat. And everybody's going to be like, well, someone should have said something. Someone should have done something. Someone should have blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, no, this is, you're talking about companies that can buy out SHIB and like that, right? And they have no problem. And the thing is, that people understand, is trillions of SHIB has already been brought and moved off exchanges. And the reason why they're moved off of exchanges is so you can't track it anymore. So that's being held. And they're like, well, they're going to put it back on the market, aren't they? AI doesn't have to. AI knows that, hey, listen, I have all this money, all this accumulation of SHIB. I don't need to put it back on the market. That's the thing people don't get. There's less supply available. Yeah. But who controls it? Well, whoever owns the AI, they control it. And they hold it. And they can hold it in any number of wallets. They don't have to hold it in one wallet. They can hold it in 20 or 30 or 100,000 different wallets. AI can move it around just that quick. Boom, 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 done. Anyone watch Swordfish? Anybody watch Swordfish? John Travolta and Holly Berry. Holly Berry. Remember when he's moving different accounts over, and he set it up that was going to be encrypted, and then to do the encryption you need 64,000 bits of code simultaneously because they're through 9 different transactions through 9 different banks across the world. You had to be in this bank at this time to be able to collect the money. Does anyone remember that at all? The AI guy, right? Came in there, and all he had to do was move the money over from one account to another account. That's all he had to do. And instead of that, he moved it between that and 9 different accounts, and you had to be at the bank, the right bank at the right time in order to get the money. And you needed a certain code to get it. Like, it's just that ridiculous. But that's why he set it up so that they couldn't touch the money. So after 1,000 years, or what does he say, 300 years, all the money will go over in one transaction, which will be in a Swiss bank account. Something like 9 billion. It doesn't really matter, right? The whole purpose of that was to show you the intelligence behind the design. So the AI design is set up the exact same way. How to move it from here to there in a split second, a microsecond. Nanoseconds now, right, with AI. So it's nanoseconds, so boom, boom, boom. And with AI, now with the Trump bill that just passed, right, the Genius Act that just went through, now it gives every single organization on the world regulation on stable coins. Well, SHIB isn't a stable coin. SHIB is 1,000,000% better than a stablecoin. Any reason why? Why is SHIB better than Bitcoin? A lot of people say as soon as you start comparing yourself to Bitcoin, it's like you're doomed for failure. Bitcoin does not reduce any of its supply. Zero. SHIB is. Will SHIB eventually be bigger than Bitcoin? Yes. Is it ever going to be considered king? No. It'll never be considered king. You can't beat Elvis. A lot of people say, can't beat Jesus either. No, you can't beat Jesus. No matter what you do, right? You're always going to have Jesus as king of everything. You have king of pop, Michael Jackson, but he still doesn't hold a candle to Elvis Presley, right? The king of rock and roll. He's always going to have that title. You can't take it away from him. Just like the king of pop, but it's going to have similar aspects to the king of rock and roll, because without king of rock and roll, you don't have the king of pop. Without Bitcoin, you don't have SHIB. Period. End of story. You don't have Ethereum. You don't have XRP. You don't have exactly. The king is always the king of that currency, of that valuation, and Jesus is king over everything. So, right? A lot of people strap that king on everything. I know, like Larry King Live. God bless his soul. Yeah, so there you go, right? That just proves one thing, that AI is here to stay. No, that AI is going to absolutely rock everybody, make them extremely wealthy, extremely quickly. And we don't need to host a 50-50 raffle anymore. Well, they told me I have a few months, but I can't even compete. But the thing is that they don't want me to sell any tickets, and that's why we don't get the amount of people coming in here and watching the channel, because of what's going on in the world economics. If that makes sense to anybody. So, like I've noticed, I don't get as many streams as other people, and we're all about helping every single person on the planet. You go figure that one out. We talk about Jesus all the time? Absolutely. We talk about people that are coming in and having a great time here? Absolutely. Because this is what we're all about, is having a great time. Coming in, enjoying life, telling our story. Preferably in SHIB. Now, some people come in here with XRP. Some people come in here with Bitcoin. Some people come in here with Ethereum. One guy came in here the other day, and he was talking about hating meme coins. And I'm like, but SHIB is no longer a meme. And he didn't want to believe it. And we had other people too, right, Mark Anthony? We have had other people come in, and then they said that they don't, like, we can show them what SHIB is. We can reduce it. We show them the proof that it's being reduced. We show them that there's more wallet holders. We show them the difference, and they show them the amount of exchanges that are now trading SHIB, but it does not compute. It does not. Their programming will not accept it, which is beyond me. I don't understand that. Can anyone explain it to me? AI's deals test subject. Yes, we talked about this before. AI doing a test on SHIB is absolutely a foregone conclusion. Why? SHIB is unlike any other currency in the world. It's not governed. It has no wages. It's perfect in its own right because it's based on individual investors. So those individual investors or corporation investors are doing everything in the back door. Okay, so SHIB is not on scale. So therefore, because it's not on scale, it's a perfect AI model for any AI that wants to take part in it, that wants to try and get their feet wet with digital currency evaluations. Because it doesn't have to worry about the human aspect in the company. So they don't have to worry about what? Price action, minting any more coins, don't have to worry about wages or any manipulation within the company. So let's say AI wanted to do something with XRP, for instance, and then they wanted to reduce XRP supply or manipulate it in such a way that they could buy and sell orders. But then they got so many people that are also in XRP, and you have people watching XRP within XRP. So you have the director, you have the CEO, CFO, you have HR. There's people in there that are watching the analytics of it. Who's buying, who's selling, and who's doing what with it. SHIB doesn't have any of that. Okay, so there's nobody watching it except for the investors, us. So we set up a war room to find out if there is any kind of manipulation going on so that we can take part in finding out which AI platform to buy into. Because if they're buying massive chunks of SHIB, we might want to take part in that. Like if we know if it's PLTR, we all might want to buy some PLTR. If it's IBM, we might want to buy some IBM stocks because we know if they're doing this in SHIB, their stock is about to skyrocket. PLTR, if they're doing it, their stock is about to skyrocket. So it helps us determine if we want to buy into that or not, because that's going to determine whether or not, because it's just a formality, right? Or it's just going to set the record straight and you're going to start buying massive chunks of SHIB. But they're not buying just SHIB, they're buying several currencies along with it. So that might be a deterrent and say, okay, I'm just going to buy SHIB because I don't know what they're buying. And if that all of those things don't pan out, they're just buying on percentages. That's why we say SHIB is a perfect test model for AI, because it is. There's zero risk associated with it, except for the human investor that has no clue, which is perfect for AI, because they want clueless investors invested in it. 1, manipulation. 2, control. And dominance. Right? I mean, where else would you want to be? I mean, all these different aspects of it that AI loves and they want to take part in it, it's absolutely in their best interest for SHIB. That's the whole point of it. And that's what we want to talk about tonight. And we did talk about it, so that's great. Right? Massive love, thumbs up to everybody that's paying attention. Jason Cox, Prince Williams, massive love shout out to you. Massive love shout out to everybody that comes in and has a great, wonderful time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on the channel. Really appreciate those that do, because it helps us. Remember that 88% of everything we take in from this channel goes directly into your pocket in the form of reduction in SHIB circulating supply. One more thing to add to the honeypot, right? So that everybody makes as much money as possible. We'd like to have 5 million, 20 million viewers a day, only so that we could, make more money, drive in the awareness, and have everybody very, very successful in this. And we would do more broadcasts like this, and we could probably get into charts later on. I just don't see any point in getting into charts when you have so many different people out there talking about the charts. And if you were undervalued in the first place, really, do you need to talk about charts right now? When you're talking a millionth of a cent to 2 millionths of a cent, 10 millionths of a cent, does it really matter what the chart is? Because it's just, in my opinion, it's just ridiculous. Okay, they're looking at this on a trading basis. I'm looking at this going, you've got to be kidding me. This should be at a $350 billion valuation right now. It's not. AI loves it. Guys, it loves it like nothing. Like I said to you, everybody before, having 10 trillion and it being swallowed up just like that. 100 trillion swallowed up just like that from an AI bot. Perfect, right? And then it disappears from the exchange forever. Or for a significant period of time until the reductions start happening. Because what is it trying to do? It's not thinking the same way you and I are thinking. It's thinking systematically. Okay? How much reductions do I need to make? And then what is the return on equity? So for $1 burned, it should be 10x. If it's not, buy more. Or we need to start reducing more. So then it does an analytics, and it's only a nanosecond that it takes to figure this out. Once it does that, then it does an accumulation record. Do it for a certain period of time, whatever that period of time is. Then it sets aside, but it's not going to be the same period of time for me and you, because me and you would be looking at this as a 4 to 5 hour ordeal. It's looking at this as a 4 to 5 minute ordeal. That's a huge difference, right? And then how much money is liquidated into it? Less than $200 for the first reductions, and you're sitting on 14 to 15 billion dollars right now anyway. I mean, and it's at what, 9.8 billion dollar market cap. You start to do the math, and it starts to work. It starts to, like, you're starting to get scared, and it's exactly what it should be. Everybody should be scared. You should be excited too for those that are holding. You know, one guy said that he was holding over 50 million, which we told everybody that's the number that's key, is don't tell any more than 50 million. If you hold more, you just say, I hold more than 50 million. If you hold less, you say, I hold over 5 million SHIB. You don't have to tell people exactly what you hold, because there's so many things going on in the world today. We don't want to get caught up into it. I'm Will, your host of the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 Raffle. I'm also here to educate every single person in SHIB. Remember that if you have something that's constantly in demand, because everybody wants what? Money. So if it's constantly being reduced, that means it's adding more money to your honeypot. Right? So if it's adding more money to you, why would you sell it? Like, it's just common sense. It's just common sense. It's just Citrix on common sense, right? Your evaluations and your straightforwardness is all about your common sense, and that's exactly what SHIB provides every single person on the planet with, is just the common sense. You got something that's constantly reducing in circulating supply, and everybody wants the value. Everybody wants the money. And it's constantly being reduced. So your money is adding more value. It's not being devalued by more debt. It's the opposite. It's the exact opposite. So you're piling in money, you're reducing the money to gain more value. So you have more money. Everybody has more money. So if you have more money, why are you selling it? Because you don't understand it. Exactly, that's the problem. The educational part of it, many miss out on. So every single person needs it. Every single person should have it. John 3:16, everybody, in your Bibles. John 3:16, God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, our Lord Jesus Christ. What does that mean? Jesus gave his life for us. Absolutely. He became the Lamb of God. So we used to sacrifice lambs because you understood that the wager of sin was death. So something pure, innocent, and honest, perfect, had to die for your sin so that you could understand the wager of your sin. So it would prevent you from sinning again because you knew the wager of that sin. Now, if you still sinned, you could still ask for forgiveness by another sacrificial lamb. But now you knew that this is a second lamb that lost its life for your life. Jesus Christ took that on the cross. Hallelujah. God bless you, everybody. Did he do that for just the Hebrews? No. Did he do it for the Gentiles? Not just the Gentiles. He did it for every single person on the planet. That's why we love Jesus Christ. That's why he's our Messiah. He sacrificed himself so that we would know what his blood meant to every single one of us. He loved us unconditionally. He said, anyone who comes to me will have a place in heaven. Isn't that awesome? Dan, awesome, Dan. Right. Thanks be to Lord Jesus Christ, right? Hosanna in the highest. God so loved the world. That's right. God so loved the world. And this is our segment. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night from wherever you are in the world. Hallelujah. Praise be to the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you and have a great day. Dan, thank you so much. You gotta laugh, right? You gotta. That's the whole purpose of it. God bless you. Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you. Zephyr, God bless you. Ryan, God bless you. Mark Anthony, have a great, wonderful evening, Mark Anthony, and God bless you and your family. Thank you, and have a great, wonderful evening. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on the channel. Really appreciate everybody who comes in. Take good care. Until tomorrow, you wanna settle.